What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Inside today's video, we have a sneak peek for Jae-Yong, the new mythic brawler. He's going to be released into the game tomorrow via early access, so I'll be pushing him straight away to see whether he's good or not. So straight away, he's a support brawler, a 2-in-1 brawler again here. So he's going to be better with a team. So you can see by the projectile length and width, the width and length is pretty much exactly the same as Cole. Of course, it doesn't boomerang back to you, but it pierces through like Cole. It's got very similar range to brawlers like Gray as well. In terms of HP, he has 6,800, which is a little bit more than the likes of Gray and Max, so other support brawlers. So there's a lot to really like about him. So straight away with his super, what you'll notice, so you press his super, it will heal you and your teammates 1,500 in that radius, and then you go over to your healing mode. But as you can see in the bottom right, I'm dealing damage and it's not going up. That's because it automatically charges up no matter what. So every 7 seconds you get to change your super and your mode from speed mode to healing mode, which is absolutely insane. So now moving on to gadget number 1, it's called Weekend Warrior. So for those 5 seconds, you're going to get a big damage boost, as you can see right here, and you deal a splash damage for 1,300 around you. So I'm having to showcase this against bots because of course he's a support brawler. So I think this is really good, especially because as a support brawler, most of the time you will lack that extra bit of damage in that 1 versus 1. Of course, that's the support brawler's biggest weakness, but he literally has a damage gadget which damages around. Of course, Meg's got a shield there, but that's just some insane damage. You top this with star power number 2 as well. He's gonna have so much versatility. It's absolutely crazy. Yeah, this brawler's got to be good. So now moving on to gadget number 2, it's called Time for a Slow Song. So he will slow opponents nearby him, I believe, upon impact. I didn't even know that part. And then with every shot, you will leave a slowing trail for I believe a couple of seconds, but for those 5 seconds after activating gadget, you can just spam out attacks relentlessly, and just everywhere you spam them out, there's going to be a slowing trail, which is just crazy strong, by the way. Really good gadget. Both his gadgets is going to be a tough choice, so again, I'll throw out this gadget. Just look at the amount of slow, especially on a hot zone, this has. Like, he's got slow, he's got healing, he's got speed, he's got so much to like about his kit. He's got to be so good. Moving on to star power number 1, it's called The Crowd Goes Mild. So for every teammate that's close to you, you get an additional 10% movement speed buff, which is going to again be a really good star power because of course you're a support brawler, you want to be staying by your teammates as much as possible. That extra speed is going to allow you just to deal better damage. It's going to help you stay away from damage. Extra speed actually increases your range as well. There's so much to like about this star power. Of course, again, it depends on what brawlers you're teaming them up with, but yeah, great star power. I mean, it only increases by 20%, so it's not anything like completely crazy, but it's still really good to have. So now moving on to the second star power. This star power deals additional 20% damage per opponent it pierces. So normally, I'd say the one that you're going to get the most is just going to pierce for maybe 1 player. So it'll go from, in speed, 1,500 to 1,800, so a 300 damage boost, which is okay. And then the healing, it's going to be 1,700 to 2,000. So that is still some pretty good damage. And if you're thinking of any game mode, again, where a bunch of people clump up, that damage is going to ramp up quickly. So let's just say 5 versus 5 mode, for example, something absolutely crazy. You're going to see the damage just scale up like crazy here. 3,060 damage. Again, let's just say crazy. Even with the speed one, it's going to be something crazy. I think this star power has potential, but you're definitely going to switch between the two. Now take a look at his best build. Of course, I'll know this tomorrow. And honestly, I can't actually decide it. Both of them look really good. If I was to say, it's tough. It's tough. This extra damage is really good, and their cooldown of 15 seconds, they're good on both of them. I think for the most part, Weekend Warrior will probably be better because, again, he does lack a little bit of damage, especially because it's very similar to like Mr. P's damage. So this one's probably going to be more valuable overall, but Time for a Slow Song is a very good one. And then in terms of star powers, extra high note, The Crowd Goes Mild. Again, it depends how solo and clumped up you're going to be. To be honest, extra high note probably is going to be just a better one with damage gear and shield gear. You can never go wrong with both of these. So now let's go through everything else with Jae-Yong, his best game modes, his best matchups, his worst matchups, and then overall my prediction. So straight away, Jae-Yong, I think is going to be one of the most underrated brawlers in the game. Absolutely, because it just depends on your team a lot of the time. But gem grab, I think, is going to be absolutely S tier here. How can you not love a gem carrier that has any type of buff every 7 seconds? He gets additional health every 7 seconds. You can quickly just give to your lane a quick speed boost every 7 seconds. What is there not to like? It's infinite value with every single shot that you put out with his speed. He's going to be insane here. And then that moves over to high, so this is going to be a little bit of a weaker game mode, but honestly, there's going to be some ways to use him, especially because of that pierce star power. he could be pretty good. Just his main attack can really help with pushes. I think he'll probably be like B tier in heist because he doesn't have crazy damage, but at least his gadget helps him with that. In terms of bounty, he might get outranged in some instances, but because his support brawler reminds me very much like Max, I still think probably A tier is a safe bet for him. He's going to get outranged on really open maps like shooting star, but overall he's going to be pretty good. In terms of Brawl, absolutely S tier here. Again, tanks might be able to run him down, but with that damage star power, with the damage gadget, if you're worried about that, he's still going to be really good. Again, the speed boost, just the overall support is going to be too good in my opinion. I think, again, the majority of the play base are going to pick up and play this brawler, and he's not going to feel good because he doesn't just automatically team wipe. He doesn't just completely take over the game. He hasn't got a hype charge, etc. But in pro play, he's absolutely going to be an insane brawler. Mark my words. In terms of hot zone, absolutely S tier here. Easily, it's going to be his best game modes. His main attack can pierce through and just deal a lot of damage. Consistently healing again. He's going to help with pushes. Again, just think of like a Byron, for example, just sitting in the back lines, just constantly spamming out those heals. And then once you and your teammate group up, you can just press super, and then they can just go forward with that extra bit of speed. What is there not to like about this brawler? And then knockout, again, I think is going to be like A tier or S tier here. He's just going to be good into everything. So going into his best and worst matchup sense. So of course, his worst matchups as a support brawler, it's going to be mainly 1 versus 1 tanks. Of course it is. Any tanks that would like to go up and close to him. He does have a damage gadget, but he has no knockback or any way like that. But just some decent survivability, right? Because of his supers being able to charge every 7 seconds and get a little bit of a health boost whether needed. Say, for example, a ball stomping on his face, then might be able to help him out in those close situations. But overall, tanks and bushier maps are going to be his biggest weakness, but still not that big of a weakness in my opinion. And then his best matchups overall, I don't think he's going to have like any crazy matchups where he absolutely hard counters. Maybe in this state, because I think some of his stats are probably overtuned. So it's going to be like, you know, when Mr. P is good in the meta, he's good against everything. It's probably going to be like that, where, you know, that projectile, that main attack is just so easy to hit, just such good consistent damage. He can be good pretty much everywhere. That's where I feel like he's going to lie in the meta. So let's take a look at where I think he's going to stay in the meta, or where he's going to, you know, come. He's going to come at the top of the meta. In my opinion, I think he's going to be S tier as well. I don't think it's going to be completely game-breaking. I mean, I think he probably will be the best brawler in the game, in my opinion. The thing that's stopping him from being game-breaking is not having a hype charge at this point in time, and some of these new hype charges do look pretty dangerous, but they're not going to come out upon his release. So I think upon release, he's going to be the best brawler in the game. If any might drop down eventually when all of these broken hype charges come out. But I think Jae-Yong is going to be criminally underrated, guys. Let me know what you think of him in the comment section below. But I'm excited to test him out. A support brawler that can do so many different things. Again, I think the most broken thing about him is those constant stat boosts every 7 seconds. This probably needs to be nerfed around 10 seconds. Let's just face it. But yeah, that's going to be it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.